That's right, everybody. This is Practical Chrome, episode 44. And that was Right Said Fred back from 1993, if you could hear it properly. Hopefully you could. But welcome to the show, everyone who's watching live, and of course everyone who will be watching on the YouTubes. And of course, I want to welcome Craig Tumblison and James Welbus. Craig, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, John, but I don't know how long we'll be on YouTube, because that right there is ripe for a takedown notice.
Well, it was only a couple of seconds, so I think come on.
Are you trying to defend your actions by breaking international copyright law?
Well, here's the thing. That's what I meant. So, my point is that we don't make a profit off this. We're not here to make money. We're here to let people know about Chrome. What does that have to do with I'm Too Sexy? That's going to be my intro to you, Mr. Tumblison, for the wallpaper scandal. But I was going to get there, and you ruined it. So thank you, appreciate that, Mr. Tumblison. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
All right, Mr. Welbus, how about you, sir?
Doing good enough.
Good enough. We don't do good enough here, James. But we'll leave it at. We'll let that lie. So. Guys, we're going into another week. There is some news this week. Apparently, there is a gate of sorts. And I wanted to bring this up first. This was first on the list, but I also wanted to bring it up because I think it's because it's a gate. First of all, it's Wallpaper Gate, I believe, is what's been coined the term. I was involved through some thievery, but I won't get into that. But let's just say my favorite place of lunch helped with the situation. Mr. Tumblison, what is up with Wallpaper Gate and Chrome OS?
Absolutely nothing. This is a complete non-story, but it's one of those little things where it's just ripe to run with it. I mean, it's really kind of a great situation. So the story goes, the HP, which makes a lot of different devices, has a default wallpaper they use for a lot of their current lineup. And what we noticed, the backstory is I've been looking to get my hands on that wallpaper for a while to add it to the Chrome Up wallpaper page. So I had John trot into his local food establishment and do a little, what should we say? A little spy work to get his hands on a digital copy of that wallpaper. As you may have noticed, he's not too worried about violating copyright laws. I also had James...
Who? What?
I also had James grab the wallpaper on the HP 14 Chromebook straight away, and the reason why I had them both do it was to see if there was a resolution difference, maybe get one in a higher quality. But as it turns out, they're actually two completely different wallpapers-ish. I posted a side-by-side on Google+, and some commenters have really been spending their day breaking down whether it's two different photos or just heavily modified photos or whether they're stitching together various pieces of various photos. It's a very lively and interesting discussion. I fully recommend that you spend a couple minutes reading over it and being impressed before promptly forgetting about it.
Now, Craig, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not sharing my screen because I wanted to do the whole video thing. But I do want to tell people the difference, just so they can know when they take a look at the post. But there is an enormous difference between the photos. I didn't think there was at first. You were like, oh, I can see a difference, and I was like, shut up, dude. There's no difference. It is enormous, the difference between the two photos. But I'll let you go ahead.
Sure, exactly. So current HP 14 Chromebook owners, the photo you have is nice, but the top left corner is kind of misty and you don't have a lot of detail focus and things like that. The Windows photo actually looks a whole lot better, like John said. It has a sunset in the background, it's got a crystal clear lake, some city lights, it's just kind of gorgeous. But the grass placement is exactly the same, and if the photos were taken at different points in time, wouldn't think blades of grass would be exactly the same, and there's some weird cropping and some perspective changes. Point being, if you own an HP 14 Chromebook and you like the default wallpaper, there might be a better version available for you on my Google Plus page.
There you go.
the conspiracy aspect here, which is completely non-true, this is why it's a non-story, but I threw it out there and people seem to be running with it. I don't think that this is an example of HP trying to sell more Windows laptops by giving them a better-looking wallpaper for the side-by-side inside stores. I don't think it's likely at all. But, I can't rule it out.
Come on. Well, all I can say is that the wallpapers from HP are really nice. That's all I can say. I like them. That is kind of a non-story, and I agree. And it was funny because when I did my little dun 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 dun, that was all bobbing and weaving in the store, and grabbing some wallpaper. I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal until I saw the difference in your post, and I was like, wow. I don't think it's that big of an issue, but the photos are completely different, and I don't know why. So I guess I would wonder what the backstory is there. But anywho, all right. So the next one is, and here's the thing about the next story. The next story has to do with our two main news sources, right? So of course we're all neck deep in the real news, right, guys? You can just nod. And then when it comes to Chrome news, we keep our ear to the ground, but we have two great sources to rely on. That is chromestory.com and omgchrome.com. So if you are looking for Chrome news throughout the week and not just trying to get in an awesome podcast, but you want to check out some cool websites that are dedicated specifically to Chrome and all the great news that pops out, definitely check out chromestory.com and omgchrome.com. Those sites will, of course, like I said, provide you with the up-to-the-minute Chrome news. You're not up to the minute, but close. Basically, they're going through some really cool redesigns. James, have you taken a look at the? I know that Chrome Story is done with their redesign, but I know OMG Chrome they changed their logo already. Have you had the chance to take a look at those?
I was not aware that OMG Chrome was also going through changes. Looking at it now, their new logo is okay. Kind of like the old one, but I have seen Chrome Stories change, and I really like it. I think it's a huge difference. I think it was a step in the right direction. I think the new site looks really nice. It's very material designish too. If you've been following Google's newest sort of design template, you've been seeing a lot of apps updated recently with the material design, and Chrome Story also looks very, very material design. So I think it's really cool.
Word. Mr. Tumblison, what about you, sir?
The Chrome Story redesign is impressive. I remember, so chromestory.com is owned by Dinson. He's a fantastic member of the community, and he's been blogging about Chrome since before Chrome OS was announced. It's that old, and he does a fantastic job. He's regular about it. He does all the things that bloggers do that I can't do, which is stay focused, stay consistent. They're laughing because they know it's true.
And actually blog about stuff.
Right. And I know you've run into that too, James.
So, we all have. Let's all just give a huge kudos to Dinson.
Right, because he deserves it. And the site is so great. He digs through the code review changes, so he finds a lot of the stories before they happen, things like that. And the new site is just amazing. And it definitely, the theme, it's Chrome related. It's got a little material design touch. It's responsive, and it just makes you feel like you're browsing a site that celebrates Chrome. And the OMG Chrome redesign is upcoming. Joey has made some hints, but I haven't seen anything special. Joey is obviously the owner and editor of OMG Chrome, also a fantastic person. These are very nice people. We're very fortunate that our community doesn't have a lot of jerks. I mean, let's be honest.
No, we have no jerks, except for myself.
Wow.
Sitting right here.
Right.
Jerk.
point being, I'm excited to see that one too. I think I want to see which is better, but honestly, I think they'll both be pretty awesome. Just because the people behind the sites are so involved in the community. So I'm excited to see what they've got planned too.
Agreed. I love Dinsan's use of responsive design. I think it's like literally some of the best stuff I've seen outside of Google in terms of responsive design. I mean, the font changes, the image size changes, everything changes as you scale down, and you can even do this just with your browser. You can pull it out. The amount of coding time and effort that went into that design, and not only that, but he had to transfer his entire site to that. So like they had to use, I'm not sure what the backend is, which blog.
It's WordPress.
Is it WordPress? Okay. So the amount of time and effort that went into that, and the I mean, even the font changes, guys. Like when you scale it down, even scaling down your browser, this font reduces. I mean, that's just, and the image reduces. So that way, if you're looking at it on a mobile device, the image won't be half cropped because you're looking at a corner of it. You know, it's going to be. It really does work really well. So I'm not a huge fan of the color palette, but if you definitely want to see an awesome responsive design based on material design, check out OMG Chrome, and then of course we'll be waiting for. Chrome Story. Check out chromestory.com to check out an awesome responsive design, material design website, and then OMG Chrome. They're coming up here soon, pretty too. Coming up here with a new change as well. So next up is and this is an interesting story because I think that these fell by the wayside. I don't know about you guys, but I noticed that Chromebooks are pretty inexpensive, right? $200-300. You offer it with a data plan. Those telecom companies are trying to make money, so they'll be like, oh, you only get it for like $50, or you only get it for $100, or you get it for free along with a 2-year data plan. And those deals kind of faded away when Chromebooks first popped out. I think there were a couple of them, but now there's a new one by I think it's Verizon. This was via OMG Chrome, and basically they're offering a 4G LTE Chromebook for $199 on a model that retails. I think this one retails for $250 or is it $300? I can't remember, but basically you're able to pick this up. Of course, you do have to have a contract and all that good stuff. But Craig, what do you think about deals like this? I mean, like we all know, and even Joey points out at the very bottom, by the time you're done with paying, but no one looks at that number anymore. No one looks at that number unless you're jumping on like Ting or one of the other pay-as-you-go cellular services. You don't care.
Or T-Mobile.
Or T-Mobile. Well.
Or Sprint.
Nah.
T-Mobile doesn't have contracts anymore, and Sprint is rumored to be getting rid of them to compete with T-Mobile.
Oh, interesting.
So, as far as that's concerned, if you're going to one of those carriers, you are looking at the bottom line because the bottom line is what you're paying every month on your bill. With Verizon and AT&T, your bill, you're locked into that amount for years. So you don't have the ability to change. Whereas, I mean, T-Mobile is giving you 200 megabytes of free data each month for every connected device you own. It's a tablet plan, but it applies to their Chromebooks too, and that's for the lifetime of the device. So if you buy this Chromebook from Verizon, you're going to end up paying, I think Joey said it's over $600 for the lifetime of the contract.
$679, yeah.
Right, or you pick up an HP 14 that has T-Mobile data access, and they give you free data each month for the lifetime of the device. You don't even have to have a plan attached to it if you don't want a plan attached to it.
Or it's enough data to load about 10 web pages a month.
More than that, actually.
Assuming there's no photos on the web page.
You would be surprised at how much data that can get. In a pinch, it works really well. You're not going to make it your primary browsing machine by any stretch, but Chrome OS does a pretty good job at caching images and stuff like that. So you can probably get a little bit more out of it than you would imagine, but don't expect to be streaming Netflix or anything like that. So I would say avoid Verizon options entirely. Hopefully, I'm hopeful, and I've had discussions with Brent Sullivan about this, and he's not as hopeful as I am. But I hope in the future we see Chromebook OEMs producing devices that are unlocked with all LTE bands supported, so that you can insert a Verizon LTE SIM or a T-Mobile LTE SIM and just roll with it. Because LTE, it's all SIM-based now, so we have inter-network operability. There's no longer a reason to sell a device that's carrier-locked. So I'm hopeful we'll see that, because it'll bring the price down. Rather than selling a Verizon model and a T-Mobile model, you just sell one LTE-enabled model, and it applies to all customers. So I would buy a T-Mobile LTE Chromebook in a heartbeat. Truthfully, I would.
I can see that. James, what are your thoughts? I mean, like, the contracts, they're bad. but when you're talking about getting a $300 Chromebook for $200, in the end, I mean, my Moto X is I'm on a contract with that thing. I'm paying $20 or $24 a month for, like, till I'm in my 60s before I can own it. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the fact that, like, it's just another offer for, like, this whole, like, get stuck in it and pay extra for something that you should just buy outright?
Well, as much as it would be nice to just be able to buy a stinking data plan and pay for it month to month and not have any contracts, I'm not as big of a hater of contracts as some people, as long as the price is fair, which with Verizon we all know is never the case. I think as far as the Chromebook deal goes, if 100 megabytes a month is enough, obviously an HP14 is the way to go, because you'll get 100 free megabytes every month from T-Mobile. If you're the kind of person who thinks you're going to need a ton of data, and the price is right, why not get $100 off of a Chromebook? If there were more options, I'd be able to say more on the topic. If you had somebody offering a month-to-month data plan and somebody else offering a data plan, but you had to get a 2-year contract, and if you did the math over 2 years, just go with whichever one's cheaper. The contract gets you $100 off a Chromebook. That factors into the price. But we don't really have that kind of data. We have T-Mobile giving you 100 free megabytes every month, and we have Verizon, who's giving you $100 off a Chromebook if you sign up for them. And I don't really know if it's a great deal or not. For me, it's not, because I don't need data on my Chromebook, so I would go with the T-Mobile option. In fact, I do own an HP14, and I never actually used the T-Mobile data, but I know that it's there in case I need it. So for a person like me, signing up for a contract would be silly, but somebody who needs more than 100 megabytes of data, it might make perfect sense for them to buy whichever Chromebook this is. I don't even remember which one. Get $100 off. They're going to pay for the data for the next 2 years anyways. Might as well be with Verizon.
That's a good point. I think that I just don't know if the market is there right now, but well, I guess we'll see. Next up is the latest Chrome Easter egg, and honestly, Son made me angry with this because I was like, "Cool, an Easter egg. Let me go in there and take a look." I'm on the beta channel. I'm like, it's definitely gonna be there. No, it isn't. You've got to be on the dev channel for it. Are either of you on the dev channel?
Not anymore.
I run Canary on one of my devices.
Okay. So apparently, there is an Easter egg when you go to Settings and then click About Chrome OS that you get this. Dinson reports it as a spinning fun thing. I can't see spinning and I can't see fun right now. It upsets me. It upsets me. Apparently Joey does have an image on his, or a video, looks like. But we don't have it. You mouse over the Chrome logo and it spins. I don't have it because I don't have development channel. Well, dev channel. It's dev channel development mode, right? Isn't that how we break that down?
Yeah, but they're practically interchangeable if you don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. So, all right. Anyway, head over to omgchrome.com and check out. Joey has a great little video showing what the little Easter egg is, and it's cute. It's a little GIF thing when you mouse over. Good stuff. Good stuff. So that was a little one. But the world's cheapest Chromebook. Dun dun dun. I don't have my sounds up. Otherwise, I'd be like, I'd do something. I'm gonna bring them up real quick. But before I do that, Craig or James, have either of you read the article regarding the Lenovo possible? It's a rumor. It's a rumor, but you know that's how I roll. You know, I get all like, you know.
It's not just a rumor, it's a rumor from DigiTimes,
Ooh.
which is basically like passing somebody in the hall and hearing the last few words of a sentence and then going home and writing an article, an editorial for the Wall Street Journal about it. It's that type of thing. There's like a 10% chance that it might, in some universe, basically, in some universe, this might have been based on reality.
That's terrible.
It is.
Craig is like, DigiTimes? Yeah, but we like to stoke the fires of the rumor.
Sure.
It's like the bellows of yore when you would just get the blacksmith's fires a burning, right? We're gonna stoke it. We're gonna get it real hot, and we're gonna read the story really quick because here's the thing, and here's why I bring this up. Within the next, I think like 4 to 6 weeks, the HP Slate. Is it Slate? Wait, what's it called? Oh dear. Okay, it's called.
You talking about the crappy Windows machine?
The Stream. Is it the Stream?
Stream. Yep.
Stream. Thank you. That's coming, right? So it's a $200 Windows 8 with Bing laptop, sporting an AMD chip, 32 gigabyte SSD drive, which is pretty much full of Windows, and some other things. But basically, is apparently going to run fairly decently, right? So when I hear about, okay, well, Lenovo's going to release this super duper duper inexpensive laptop, basically coming out of the $175 price point, which is the cheapest Chromebook available that would come out there. That's pretty exciting. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. Yes, it might have come from DigiTimes, but there might be a little bit of truth to it. So it's something to definitely watch out for. It is rocking an ARM chip, so let's just keep that in mind. Anything else? Anything else we could add to that?
Well, it's not an ARM chip from Samsung. It would be an ARM chip from Rockchip, which is a company that we haven't had a Chrome OS device come from yet. So they may bring massive innovation to the table and be able to take the ARM designs they license and just get this amazing performance out of them, where Samsung couldn't. But it's not super likely. And if you've got a new company coming in, they may be willing to sell the chip cheaper, take less profit on it in order to break into the market. We could, in theory, AMD would probably take a similar approach if they were trying to break in. So it's not completely unfathomable. But the 175, we talked about this once before. Is that, James, I'm going to ask you because I think you had a strong opinion last time. At 175, does this become a machine that is too cheap? Will people feel like this is not, like if it's just a toy at 175?
Probably. It's hard to imagine doing anything important on a device that only costs $175.
What about the Moto G smartphone or a Nexus 7 tablet? They're about the same price point.
Yeah, and I've tried to do important things on tablets. It's not fun. The biggest thing is, and that is actually a good point you bring up. For some reason, when you think of a smartphone, $200 seems high-end expensive. When you think of a laptop, $200 seems low-end crap. but you're talking about the same exact amount of money going into two pieces of hardware that pretty much do the same thing, just slightly differently. So they probably should be a little more comparable than I initially thought. But I think I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think that most people would look at a $170 laptop and think exactly what you said, that this is probably more of a toy, more of a toy than it is any sort of productivity device. And they'll go and continue being productive on their $175 tablet instead.
I think what comes to mind for me is if you've ever gone through a Big Lots checkout line, they have the off-brand tablets behind the counter for like
Oh yeah.
$19.99,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it, and you know it's a tablet, much like a stone tablet is also a tablet by definition. So you understand that it's knockoff, and I feel like at $175, even though 200 is the range that we're currently kind of seeing with Chromebooks, it almost feels like it's priced to be a knockoff Chromebook. And with a super low-end chip, it would feel like it too. So it'd be like, okay, we're a school district. Are we going to buy the on-brand Chromebook or the off-brand Chromebook? And I feel like the sub-200 price point would create that divide. Because a company that, I mean, like Samsung, if you looked at their latest models, they went high with the price. They wanted to create this illusion of a premium Samsung Chromebook, even though it has the ARM hardware. They wanted it to feel expensive, and it's got that fake leather nonsense. So,
Which I love.
which James loves. There's definitely some marketing there. There's some marketing to it. Samsung wants to be the on-brand, and at $175, you kind of feel like that's priced to be an off-brand Chromebook. So even though we know that software side, it's all going to be the same, they get the same priority, all that fun stuff, it's worth considering, I think.
Especially if it's going to have a big rock chip logo on it, which a lot of people aren't used to seeing in a Best Buy store, I don't think. Regardless of how big that company may actually be, people are going to see that and think $175, some rock chip board I've never seen in my life, that's a knockoff Chromebook. I'm going to go over here and pay $250 for the Acer.
That is an amazing point. And it's funny you mention that because the only rock chip product I'm aware that I own is actually a USB to Ethernet adapter, which was the off-brand version of the Nintendo Wii USB to Ethernet option.
I may own some rocket fish devices, but I don't think I own any rock chip devices.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's not the right. I thought they made the stuff that was in them though. Hang on.
I'm just saying people might get rock chip even confused with rocket fish.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Not to break into the rocketness of it all, but really quick. This is something actually I heard on and I don't know if this affects Chromebooks or not. Okay, so there's another podcast I listen to dedicated to Linux, and they brought up the fact that the Haswell chip, right, which has the GPU inside of the CPU, so to speak, basically that the one company in cooperation with Intel discovered a very important performance fix for their DRM driver that was significantly boosted the OpenGL performance for Haswell graphics. And we're talking like 20% to maybe even 60% increase in graphics performance. I'm going to link this with the guys just so you guys can take a quick peek. But I heard this the other day on the Linux Action Show, and I wanted you guys to take a look at it so you would see what I'm saying. But I'm wondering, I don't know if this will come to Chrome OS, but basically it's going to be put in the Linux driver. So if Chrome OS, constantly pings up to the next iteration of the Linux kernel, we would actually get this driver, and they're saying that it would be ready for Linux 3.19 or 3.19 merge window. So that'd be incredibly exciting if we could get something like that. Not to belittle the whole rock chip people and their ARM chips, but the Haswell chips. So basically, if you own an Acer C720, there's a Haswell chip right there, you might get a performance boost of 20%. I don't know what that means to battery life. I don't know if that means that Google will allow it into their Linux kernel. I don't know, but I just remember heard that and I wanted to bring that up. So, indeedy do.
I'm always in favor of belittling ARM chips, John. You know that. Don't apologize for that.
That's a good point, Gene. Hate ARM.
I do want to say real quick, James, I looked it up. Yeah, I did get them confused. You were right.
Oh, no.
So I just completely talked out of my butt. I don't own any Rocket chip devices that I'm aware of.
For the record, I was not even remotely implying that you may have made that mistake. I assumed that you had a rock chip device, and it just occurred to me at that moment that people might get them confused.
That is scary.
I had complete and utter faith in you, Craig.
You shouldn't.
Well, that's all right. I'm glad that we cleared that up. All right. So I actually use a Rockfish mouse at work, so I'm right there with you.
Wasn't I the one that called Rockchip a really small company like 2 months ago?
It wasn't Rockchip that you called a small company. It
was someone else?
Was it Rockchip? No.
Some company I've never heard of, and I thought it was tiny, and it was the episode with Ara, and she looked at me like I was a moron when I said that.
Oh, it was the, it starts with an S. They're either Chinese or Taiwan.
I know, but let's...
Yeah, and they create, like, all the laptops in the world or something.
Yes,
market
pretty much. And I was like, they're just a tiny... It's good to see tiny companies making Chromebooks these days. I'd never heard of them.
That started with a T, but that's okay. I'll look that up in a moment. But custom wallpaper sync is on the way. So basically, if you have a wallpaper such as this lovely beauty from HP, thank you HP for your lovely wallpaper. If you have this beautiful wallpaper from HP and you have it on your Chromebook, let's sync some stuff up, shall we? If you get onto another Chromebook, make some wallpaper love happen across the domains there, right? Craig, I don't know if you've had a chance, or James, because something tells me this is going to be one of those little picadillos of the Chrome OS-ness. Because of the fact that Chrome OS is so portable, and you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see something like, not just Chrome OS, but let's give it to the people with the Windows 8 where they have the Metro mode. Give them a wallpaper. If you notice, they don't have a wallpaper in their little Metro mode piece of Chrome. I'd like to see them. I know that we talked about that. They're not going to keep that going, but still, that's what I'm saying. James, what do you think about syncing wallpapers? And I don't know if they're going down. I mean they're syncing across devices, not syncing into the ocean.
Right now, I could not tell you what wallpaper my Chromebox has. The reason is I never, ever look at it. I have no reason to ever look at my desktop since I can't put any icons there. I have a Chrome window up, and I access apps, either most of them in my little, what do you call it, taskbar at the bottom, and if it's not there, I go into the apps. So I never look at my wallpaper. I never set a custom wallpaper because I never see it. I don't know what wallpaper I have right now. Let me shrink it down. Okay, it looks like a beach, and it's very pink. Lots of pink going on in this wallpaper. So I don't care. I'm not going to take the time to sync wallpapers that I never ever look at.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Not to be negative, I'm just saying I don't look at it.
No. So what I do, I'm a wallpaper flip-flopper. I will take a wallpaper and I will flip-flop back and forth for a couple days. But I agree with you. I don't think I look at it very often. I do not stare at a wallpaper that often. Craig, I mean, we don't have Craig. We don't have a lot of widgets, right? We don't have the time and the weather on our desktops. We also don't have a lot of real estate on a Chromebook, at least. Maybe a Chromebox, you might. What do you think about the wallpaper syncing across devices? Is it important?
I think it's not a priority feature, but it's important to have because Chrome OS is supposed to sync. It's supposed to be able to restore if you do a power wash, and without the ability to sync a custom wallpaper, it can't restore your wallpaper. So, for example, if you choose your own image and then you have to power wash, that image won't come back until this feature hits stable. This feature allows your Chromebook to be your Chromebook again when you log in. Or you pick up a new Chromebook, you go into work every day, you don't have to set your wallpaper, it just happens in the background. Of the three of us, I think I've spent the most time with the Chrome OS wallpapers.
Yes, you have.
Hold on, let's add up all the time we spent. Okay, 0 seconds for me. You go next, Craig.
Like, probably 3 days, 24 hours a day. Oh my goodness. Oh, I created a wallpaper page for Chrome Up where people can download wallpapers. Listeners, go get one. And it's just so... It took so much cropping, so much looking up author information, so much research.
And click on his ads while you're there. A lot.
Please, no. I'm not allowed to say that.
See, now with me, guys, I usually end up with a landscape or a very pretty architectural picture, and then otherwise I end up with something really fun, right, on my Chromebook. For the kids, everybody might end up with a little bit Rainbow Dash, My Little Pony action, something like that. But I do change it kind of often. So I see Craig's point with that, where it is kind of something that that the wallpapers are important and you need to sync them. But I don't know, I didn't find it very important. I don't know. I guess it's just me. But
well, there's a couple wallpaper. This is one of the top feature requests related to wallpapers, and it's a long time coming. And then the other one is the upcoming Wallpaper API, which will allow apps to set wallpapers for you. So you can download a wallpaper app and better manage your wallpapers that way. Apps could theoretically do things like make your wallpaper a slideshow, some things like that, or even just pull down a wallpaper every day. There's a sample app that pulls down the Bing homepage photo every day, which I just love.
That's awesome.
It is, but the Wallpaper API is currently dev channel only, and I haven't seen any recent progress that would open it up. So I'm waiting on that to hit stable because I think there's some really cool stuff people can do with it. But it's not being passed down the channel system yet, as far as I'm aware. Yes, I see your wallpaper, John, but the listeners can't.
Just saying. A wallpaper can be a positive influence, kind of like we talked about the other day about the whole don't break the chain or getting things done. A wallpaper can be a positive influence, kind of like I have a wallpaper here of Neil Patrick Harris. As Barney from How I Met Your Mother. He's saying, when I'm sad, I stop being sad and I be awesome instead. So I can see how some people might need their wallpapers to come forward, because maybe their mantra might be on there. Don't you think?
Nope.
No. But I will point out that the name of the company that makes most laptops is Quanta.
Yes.
Because it was driving me crazy.
A new startup.
That's right, exactly, James. Oh dear. All right, so let's hop off the wallpapers for a second.
Please.
Let's talk emoji. Let's talk little people with high fives. Let's talk smiling faces, smiling so hard they have tears coming down their face. And let's talk about putting that into text form, okay? Let's talk about putting that right there. basically the Chrome virtual keyboard will have emoji support. James, is this absolutely necessary?
Absolutely necessary? I'm going to have to say no. It is not absolutely necessary.
Thank goodness. Craig, is this necessary?
This is life or death. I'll be frank with you, John. If the virtual keyboard didn't get emoji support, there would probably be riots. Yeah, I mean, this is the type of thing that upsets Greek gods and leads to volcanoes. It's just that critical. I'm surprised we don't have an acronym for it. It's just that fundamental.
I'm not exactly a Greek god, but I have been pissed off by emojis before. HTC in particular replaced all the Hangout emojis with their stupid HTC Sense emojis. So when you get on your phone and you hit the little smiley face, you see all the little emojis that Google came up with for their Hangouts app. I see all the stupid little emojis that HTC dreamed up one day. And so I'm not really sure when I send an emoji what the person I'm sending it to is going to see. That pisses me off.
That has been a common problem on messaging boards since 1942. Because in the old days, with forum software like PHPBB and MyBB, the forum administrator picked the emoji set that was used on that site. So you would go site to site, and some of them would add custom ones, others would just use a default set. There's a GTK set, I think, that Pigeon used that is my all-time favorite. They're a little bit bigger than the ones Google uses, and they actually look like they're full circles, so they're not the weird obese things that Google gives us. They're actual circles.
Easy. Don't talk about obese things.
I miss those obese little emojis.
Don't listen. I like the whole fluffy nature of those smileys. Okay.
They look like gumdrops.
They do. They're cute.
Emoji
eat them.
round.
No, they don't have to be round. Who are you to judge on how much weight an emoji has gained and
those
how
emojis are beautiful the way they are.
Exactly.
They're yellow.
Now you're just being racist. I can't have this conversation anymore. This has gone too far.
You know, it's funny because there have been actual complaints about that, and Google has actually made some modifications to the new emoji set, which I think is going to be in Lollipop, to correct some of those issues.
The fact that they're overweight?
No, not overweight. The race thing.
Yeah, but hold on. If they were all first of all, if they were all a quote nude color, I guess the color I'll come up with right now. To be honest, they would look naked. Then I would be like, ew, naked.
Right.
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 So, how can you fix that?
Well, there was a few emojis that weren't the yellow color. They were skin tone. So they're adjusting that to be more cartoonish, kind of like the Simpsons route.
Okay.
Pick a color that isn't typical of skin tone, so then you avoid any possible issues with it. So honestly, I don't have a strong opinion.
Okay. I'm right there with you. James, do you have a strong opinion of the whole emoji situation? I realize that HTC has commandeered the Google emoji set from you, and I know that upsets you greatly. But where do you stand on emojis in general and whether or not they should be used on a virtual keyboard?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Craig, to you.
I had it before James did. I gave my answer.
He doesn't care, basically.
Well, okay, I care. And I'm actually, this is a change. It's one of those little features that makes it more, you want to know my real issue here? My real issue is that I have to install an extension to type emoji using the physical keyboard. Because the physical keyboard doesn't let me type emoji on a site that isn't the Hangouts app.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I didn't even realize that existed.
Yeah, it's a big problem, John. It's probably the biggest problem of my generation. We got to get this fixed.
That's like the second time I think that you've called me old, like side-handedly.
Oh, you're catching on. I gotta stop now.
all right. All emojis aside, um, the last thing on our list, and sadly this would bring this episode to an end of the Practical Chrome. Now this is a big deal, and this is a big deal for a number of reasons. Fonts, typesetting, things like that have been around for many, many years, right? Many years. And then we had the things where people started looking at things like how font appears on the screen, how it changes in size, how it's readable for different font sizes. Then people started looking at you're looking at emotion, you're looking at eye movement. Font is a big deal these days. So this next story is basically that Chrome OS Android are to have a common default font, which is Roboto. Right? So, saying all that, is there any comment from any of us, one of the three of us, that makes you say this is a big deal, or do you think am I just kind of out there in left field?
Big deal? I'm not sure it's a big deal. I like the Roboto font. In fact, I've seen a website that somebody I know built recently, and they used Roboto font, and I think it looked great.
All right, Craig, what about you, sir?
This changes everything.
It changes everything?
Sort of. It'll change the way everything looks. So you kind of have a wide berth there. The most interesting thing to me is that the ticket for this on the Chromium tracker was opened 4 days ago, I guess, on November 7th. And the comment said that they have the latest version of Roboto ready, but they had to wait until Android L was released, which happened last week, and then they merged the ticket into a private one. So we can't really track progress of this. It's labeled as possibly milestone 41, which is interesting for no reason at all. People keep expecting like a big material design update for Chrome OS, like it's all just going to happen at once. I don't think that's very likely. We've seen small tweaks here and there. Roboto is the default font for material design, so I think this is another one of those small, mild changes that are going to build Chrome OS into something that looks very different 8 months from now than it does today. But yeah, I like the font. It's just boring enough that no one can really take outrage to it.
Nice.
Just like me.
Nice.
Well, it's no Comic Sans. And it's no Times New Roman.
It's no, exactly.
And it's no Helvetica. It's no Georgia.
Garamond.
Yeah.
Garamond.
Arial.
Sounds like I'm wearing a smoking jacket.
Yeah, and don't forget Arial.
Ariel. She's a fish.
Let's see. What are the other common fonts? Trebetch or whatever.
Trebuchet.
Trebuchet. I love
Trebuchet. Weddings.
Calibri, which is what I read my email in.
Yes. Personally, I'm a fan of Lato. Lato. It works very well for thin. The thin shades work very well. There's Museo Slab.
Museo. That sounds disgusting.
It's awesome though, and it's a slab font, so it works very well for a lot of titles and things.
Calling it a slab font doesn't make it sound less disgusting.
No.
I imagine a big slab of uncooked fish or something.
Put it on the slab, Doc.
Anyway,
Well,
there's a lot of fonts.
I know, but now of course we have Mr. Roboto, right?
Is that what that is?
I don't know what that is. I found something.
Oh, we're gonna get sued.
And by we, you mean John?
No.
Yeah, I'm not part of this.
No one's getting sued. No one's getting sued.
I'm gonna laugh if this video gets flagged.
That's okay. It's okay with me.
I might flag it.
Are you gonna be the one to flag it? That would be messed up, Craig. That would be messed up.
I'm not gonna apologize.
You should apologize now already. Wait, is this better? There we go. That's what I wanted. Domo arigato.
If you think we can hear it, we can't.
Oh, here.
It's better that way.
Alright.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is John's Chromebook, the leading source of deafness in America today.
Exactly. Alright, gentlemen. So, man, I love this show. If only we could do it every week. That kind of brings us to the end of the show. Last week, I was cut off by my ISP, but before that, I was cut off by Craig. When I wanted everyone to know where to find everybody, and the reason I want everybody to find everybody is because some people watching this show are like, I like that Craig guy, I like that James guy, I like that John guy. So I just want everybody to know, in case you have a different handle, right? Maybe like a Twitter handle, or like a CB handle. You know what I mean? Maybe you're known as Craigers the
CB handle? Is
That's
it like a
what I'm
Chromebook handle? What is that?
That might actually work. What's your Chromebook handle? There you go, Craig. What's your Chromebook handle? Where can everybody find you throughout the week?
Well, I tend not to encourage stalking, but
Craig doesn't like competition.
well put. So that works really well because for some reason James keeps referring to me as the Craigslist killer, which is
You're from Ohio,
and my name happens to be Craig. Yeah.
and you make some dark jokes once in a while. You're not helping your case.
True. And at this point, I'm actually doing it on purpose. I made a reference the other day to using the actual Craigslist killer's name as an alias, and it just went right over James's head. He didn't even catch it. And
I didn't know the guy's name. I thought it was Craig Tumblison. I had to Google it.
So now that's in our browser history.
Thanks a lot, Craig. First you just about make me wipe my Linux device, and then you got me Googling mass murderers.
Well, hey, you gotta start somewhere. Anyway,
Start
is there like
small
a
with the NSA sampling.
right? Is there like a code academy for wannabe serial killers?
No, not a Code Academy.
Kill Academy?
Kill Academy.
Is that available during the week? Listen, find me on Google Plus.
Mail order program. It's not on the internet. That's too forward facing.
Not necessarily. There's a lot of things on the internet that are hard to get to, John. With your wallpapers, I think you might kind of know.
I know. Did you see that last one? It was a good one.
Google Plus is hard to get to on an ARM device.
Google Plus.
Ooh. For people that own an ARM device, they're like, "Screw you, James."
Google Plus is basically invisible to most people. Have you noticed that?
Yes, it is the social network of the uninformed.
Well, no. No. Google
You take that back, sir.
Google Plus is a thing that everybody is aware of, but nobody engages with. and it's how can I don't have any good examples that aren't going to offend somebody.
John already offended our entire listener base, so
I know I did. I didn't mean it that way. But the point is, Craig's coming up with the point. Go ahead, Craig. You were saying.
I have nothing. You can't always look to me as the person that's going to just heal you when you get off track.
I do. You need to heal. James, can you heal? You don't have the 7th level power of heal. Craig does. That's why I always go to the party of my troop that has the heal factor, and that's Craig.
Don't turn this into some video game thing, John. That's not what this is.
All right. The reason I say the uninformed is because literally G Plus works really well for the people that use it, and no one else knows about it. So when I say the uninformed, I say that meaning that Facebook is out there, but they don't use it, and I don't use it either. I hate Facebook, but I love G Plus. But my wife will tell me things that have not been on G Plus, and vice versa. So I say like the uninformed because it's almost like the Facebook is like the social one, and then the G Plus is full of geeks.
There's a flaw in that because you say that no one knows about Google Plus. Everybody knows about Google Plus. It's an open secret at this point. It's not like Elo where you have to get an invite. It's an open secret. Nobody chooses to use it. That's the problem. Because they're on Facebook. And they love Facebook because it's Reddit without all the bad stuff. Because whatever happens on Reddit is going to be on Facebook 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, you know too much. I had no idea about that on Facebook.
Well, yeah, because Reddit is where news tends to happen. Like, when something happens, a Redditor is usually close by to take a photo of it and post it on the internet for magic internet points. And then, 2 or 3 days later, somebody reposts it to Facebook, and that's when your mom or grandma or brother or sister comes over and says, "Hey, isn't this so funny?" And you're like, "Yeah, I laughed at that 3 days ago." My laugh has already kind of just merged into the other particles in the air.
I feel like you're making another joke about me being old, but I don't use Facebook. All right.
that got weird.
It's working so well because now I have John wondering if I'm calling him old all the time. And that is just the essence of what I go for with my jokes.
That's good old-fashioned old person paranoia right there.
It is. It is old.
Dementia.
I turned 35 in like 20 days. No, not 20 days.
Your memory's going, John.
It is. It's going downhill fast. That's okay. I'm turning 35. It's scary for all involved. Anyway, all right. We'll let people that watch this show actually like go at this point. You can stop watching. You're not going to miss anything because we're going to end the show. You guys good with that? You guys ready to say sayonara? All that good stuff?
Well, I guess we kind of have to. You don't have a lot of time left.
No. I see you, Tumblison. I see you.
Quick, before he dies, end it. Publish it.
And one day when I do die on air, you're going to be very sad.
I hope I'm there. I hope I'm there, John.
That would be our highest rated episode, hands down. Like, I'm not even ashamed to admit that.
Ouch.
I mean, think about all the weirdos in the world that just live for that kind of content. We could fill a niche. That's what I'm saying.
Would I be in like a Faces of Death video? Like, this is the face of a podcaster using Hangouts on air and the dying. That would be terrible.
Well,
Hangouts would.
The only way it would really work is if you somehow managed to do a live feed from a Russian dash cam. Because that's the only way that death videos look legitimate.
That's a good point. You have a good point there. You have a very good point there, Craig.
Not that I have any experience.
I was going to say, and you watch way too much Faces of Death.
He's a Craigslist killer. He's seen many faces of death.
Up close and personal.
It's the best viewing angle, John.
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
And
man.
all for a simple post trying to sell a clawfoot table. Awesome. Awesome. Do you have the claw and ballfoot table that you take pictures of so you can lure them in, or are you always trying to sell like your 1994 like Chevrolet Cabriolet or something like that?
I cannot. I can't make any jokes that aren't too oddly specific.
All right, we'll end on that note.
This is how comedians get themselves into trouble.
That's all right. All right. Terrible joking aside, and no, I'm not dead. I'm not going to die. But everyone, thanks for watching Practical Chrome, the show that brings you humor along with everything Chrome related. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Maybe on Tuesday, maybe on Wednesday, maybe on Thursday, maybe on a whole other show. You never know. You guys have a good week.